Sponsor an orphan, and you'll help support a vulnerable child to have the education they've always dreamed of, so they can build a brighter future. You'll be feeding a hungry stomach and a hungry mind with knowledge that will last them a lifetime. That's the power of an education. Sponsor an orphan now with Islamic Relief.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. That's me. I'll be dressed a little bit like this for the show. Please come out to support. It sounded funny at the time in Dearborn, December the 17th, 2022. All right. So here's the deal. I just got to get this straight. It's all right. Because I can't keep bending this way. So look, this show is going to be amazing. I'm being brought there by my brother, Big Fresh, and everybody in the Hammer Track area. My main man, Ishmael, his lovely queen. Rafiki's going to be there. This is going to be an amazing show. It's going to be intimate. It's going to be funny. Years ago, I did something called Love Supreme and Anatomy of Gratitude, which was a true tribute to John Coltrane through comedy. Now we have this thing. We got so many things to talk about: the pandemic, the elections, Trump. Listen, brothers and sisters, this is the time. We're going to be doing a show. Yeah, it is. It's called It Sounded Funny at the Time, Dearborn, Michigan, December the 17th. Listen, I hope you guys attend. I'm looking forward to coming back to the Dearborn area and just being amongst my brothers and sisters. Come on out. $20 if you get your tickets early. $25 if you get them late. And if you don't like Muslims, you don't get a ticket at all. Listen, see you there. I won't see you. No matter, because we're going to have an epic time. With your moms. It sounded funny at the time. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. This is your brother, Preacher Moss, host of the SOS the Shout Out Show. Hope that you're having a fabulous Wednesday before the big day of Thanksgiving. A lot of you people are in transit. A lot of you trying to get to in-laws' house or get to the plane or get to the bus or the train. And, it's just a time of transition around family time. And I really, really advocate at this point in time of the year that we really, really be careful on the roads. That we spend quality time with our family. This is something that shouldn't be taken for granted. That also, I want to send condolences out to the families of those who were affected at the Walmart shooting in Chesapeake, Virginia, as we go into this whole thing of Black Friday. Understand people that hurt people. And that's not an indictment of anybody. We all go through problems. We all go through changes. And some of us emotionally are not able to manifest peace in our hearts. And sometimes it explodes in a negative expression. And we have that. And it's been happening with a little bit more frequency, shootings. And I'm not, I don't want to bring showdown at all, but I'd be false, so I wouldn't be true to myself, true to the nature of the show if I didn't say that these things are happening. So what I really hope for during Thanksgiving is just a period of peace, a period of families getting together, no violence, no shootings, no foolish conversations, no threats. That we get together and we enjoy ourselves, if you will, as family, as friends, as neighbors. It's extremely important. I know I might get some blowback from Muslim brothers. You're advocating for Thanksgiving. I'm going to tell you something and make it very, very clear. Thanksgiving to me, just like Christmas, is a chance for me to be with my family. They were not religious holidays in my space. They first and foremost were family holidays where everybody got off from work and we can get together and see each other. And as old folks say, we can lay eyes on one another. So all power and shout out to Thanksgiving as it's coming through. So I'm going to be talking about Black Friday. And as I look at the way I titled today's show, I think I'm going to change it up a little bit. It says Black Friday, an analogy of debt. Actually, Black Friday is an analogy of culture. Not so much debt, but culture. And it's a little bit more of a culture I can appreciate because drawing on some of my experiences with my aunts, my Aunt Ruth, my Aunt Dottie, it was a period of joy. It was something that was built into the tail end, if you will, of Thanksgiving. And I want to celebrate that part of it, the fun nature of it. And we're going to talk a little bit and maybe give you a little bit of history, stuff you probably already knew. But we're going to do it today here on the Shout Out Show. So without further delay, we're going to roll. Don't you move. We'll be right back. Preacher Moss, the Shout Out Show. Okay, we're back. Thank you guys for coming back. Before we get started, I have to shout out the fabulous Shout Out Show family, the Shout Out Show soldiers, if you will, that make this show possible and give it the heartbeat that it has. I always thank them every show, and today is no different. So let's get everybody in here. We got it here first. Okay, so we got Sister Ree. I know Sister Ree is cooking up around the corner, making that Thanksgiving dinner. Inshallah, I will be there. Or inshallah, if I'm not there, I hope that you have a fabulous Thanksgiving dinner, Sister Ree. Sister Ree can burn, so that's when you find out how many people are really your friends, because they only show up when it's time to eat. Sister Ree, appreciate you. Shout out, of course, your husband Derek, and your other king, Brother Jawan. Peace and blessings. I'll be all to them. Give them my salams. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Next up, better known as Mr. 6 o'clock, straight up, straight down, a Canadian envoy to the show, my main man, Altaf Rashid. What's going on, beloved? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for all that you do and making this show real, man. We appreciate everybody's input and just the support. It's an amazing thing. I can't really encapsulate it verbally, but it's just something that feels good when I look in the counter and I see not so much that you're on the show, that you're here. And you're present, and I always ask, are you doing all right? Is there anything you need? I appreciate you. Thanks so much. Next up, here we go. Bilal Salahuddin. Got both of them. You got Brother Bilal Salahuddin and his lovely queen, Sister Sonia Dalton Salahuddin. Thank you for both participating in the show today. We appreciate you. Hope all is well. Hope that your Thanksgiving festivities is going to go well, and may Allah grant you much space in your house, because you got like 300 grandkids that are coming over at the same time. God bless you for that. Good to see you. Next up, and we got to give a shout out to executive producer, Sister, you got it, Satana Woodfield, she's working hard, brother. She's on the 1 and 2s, but she's babysitting her nieces, and they beating her down, boys. They beating her down. Well, let's make the wah for Sister Satana to find her strength to deal with 7-year-olds. Alhamdulillah. I think we all need strength to deal with a 7-year-old. So let that be put out there. All right. And I want to give a shout out, of course, to the Bethel family and Moth family that will be gathering and I would say coalescing the Thanksgiving vibe. So anybody out there, and I'm going to ask some questions too about Thanksgiving. Probably tomorrow. We're going to do a show tomorrow. It's just going to be live. Won't be all that. I'm just going to have a few vibes. If you don't make it, it's okay. If you do make it, it's cool. But, I want to make sure that I am respectful of family time. So we're going to have a shorter show, maybe like 20 minutes. So you can check it out if you want to, and then go back and eat. All right. So let's talk about one aspect of Thanksgiving. Now, at my age, you can realize what I'm about to say. There was a time back in the day when Thanksgiving was everybody came over, ate too much, and they got itis. Well, that changed in the years afterwards as we progressed, of course, to the 80s and the 90s and 2000s. Something came about, and it was called Black Friday. Also, I'm going to give a shout out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my main man, Tariq Subhani. What's going on, brother? Peace and blessings to you and your family, man. It's been a minute since we've seen you on the show. Hope that you're doing well, man. Much love and respect. Thank you. And thank you for all you do, beloved. So let me frame this. Thanksgiving for me, 1968. We would either go be at grandma's house or be at my Aunt Dut's house. And my Aunt Dut's house was in southeast Washington, in that area, but the things and the smells that emanated out of our house were important. And what I'm going to say is, at that point in time, Thanksgiving would move around from house to house. So it might be at with my dad, it might be with my aunt, might be with my other aunt, but it always moved around. And everyone, and it would be at grandma's house too. So just so you know, everybody shared the whole idea of Thanksgiving. Something happened later on, and it's not actually old. It's just that it became advertised with social media. And the thing that happened, and it had a lot more notoriety, was this thing called, wait for it, Black Friday. Now, Black Friday traditionally happens after Thursday. But what happened with the whole idea of conglomerates and bigger businesses being able to afford to keep employees on and things like that? Black Friday, in many regards, if you remember correctly, would actually start at midnight, where people would line up to get the best deals, and they'd be out in the cold, the rain, the snow to get this whole idea. And I used to think that people are crazy to be standing out there. Now, they weren't crazy. They wanted a good deal. And let me explain to you where Black Friday actually comes from. The term is actually a police term from Philadelphia. And what Philadelphia police called Black Friday was the cultural shift of people from the suburbs coming into the cities to get the best deals. They called it Black Friday. It also happened around an Army-Navy game, Army-Navy football game. So it just brought in a whole lot of people. They called it Black Friday. So the funny part about Black Friday, now you should think about this, probably overthinking, it's just, what was the allure of trying to get this discount? What was the allure of trying to get a break on price? The allure of getting a discount on the break on a price of a product, a TV, a computer is this. Damn it, it made sense. Why pay for a TV at $1,500 when you can get it at this particular time in this window for $750 or $799, and so on and so on and so on. And I began to understand as I talked about this analogy of debt. And let's be honest, a lot of debt is accumulated during Black Friday because a lot of people open accounts. They open an account at Walmart, they open an account, and they fall into that trap. But for the most part, this is the thing that I have to say, is that a lot of people plan for Black Friday, to the point that companies in competition for that seasonal dollar, they even stopped having Black Friday and started having it after Thanksgiving. And I'm saying, we kind of ruined the whole idea of Black Friday, but I understand business. And what was interesting and what I love about Black Friday is it recognizes the buying power of those people who are looking for a discount. And you had offshoots. You have Black Friday, then you have Cyber Monday and things like that. And it all makes sense. I mean, we're in a recession right now, or close to a recession right now, definitely dealing with inflation. And there's certain things you have to know. Whether it was an inflation or recession, what I loved about Black Friday, like my Aunt Ruth and my Aunt Dottie and some of my cousins, they would load up the van and they were like big game hunter looking for deals. What I enjoyed was the fact that, oddly enough, it was family time. Let me explain this. I've never gone to a Black Friday, even when it was at midnight. That's not what I did. My Aunt Ruth, my Aunt Dottie, my Aunt Ruth, may Allah be pleased with her. My Aunt Ann, may Allah be pleased with them. When I was little, they would take me downtown. And they would shop all day long. And this is back in the day in Washington, D.C., you had to take like 2 or 3 buses to get downtown, get to Howard and get downtown and shop. And as a kid, I would suffer for these shopping hours with my Aunt Dottie as they went and picked out all their Christmas stuff. They picked out all the Christmas stuff they wanted for everybody. They had a list. And Frank needs 2 pairs of socks. Junior needs this, that. And I would watch them go through all of this. And I appreciated just the loving way in which they did it. What I didn't appreciate was having her lug these 200 bags of stuff back on the bus to get back The big bad home. Now, here's the thing that was funny. The love of the shopping, and even with Black Friday, the love of the shopping was at the end of every shopping spree when I had to go with my Aunt Dottie, my Aunt Ruth, and my Aunt Ann. At the end of that was this, knowing that I had absolutely no interest in shopping for anyone other than myself. The fun part was this, that at Woolworth, I was always able to get a toy of my liking and a little bit of food. And it was funny. I'm like, they got me figured out. As an adult, I was like, man, they played me cheap. But they didn't play me cheap. They understood the whole culture of shopping. And here's the other thing that I want to add. Love. That they cared so much about people having something to open on Christmas. And it wasn't just family members. I remember people would come and, they didn't have anything. And my Aunt Ruth would look and go, and she would look and go, oh, we got your present. And that present, it didn't have a name on it. It just had a blank thing. And that was why she did Black Friday. So in any event, and let me even break this down. I say alhamdulillah for Black Friday. This is why. As my aunts got older, they couldn't be on that bus. They couldn't be lugging all this stuff. And Black Friday gave them an opportunity in a meaningful and direct way to get all the stuff they wanted in one space. Heckingers and Macy's and all of that. And sometimes they would split up. It gave them the providence to go get the stuff they wanted, and it didn't wear on their bodies. And still, let me add, it still had the festive vibe to it. Now, sometimes you hear about Black Fridays and people getting trampled and stuff like that. That's not the festive vibe. That's the animal vibe. But the idea that people get together, and I can only imagine some of the conversations that were had online when people were waiting for Black Friday. I remember I had to go grab something one time, and I had to stand in line for an hour, 2 hours. It was one of those type of deals, and it was just the conversations in line. I'll give a better example. When I first moved to Los Angeles and I was doing my comedy thing, George Lopez, good guy, he was like, "What do you do?" I'm going up at the Laugh Factory. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, I'm gonna stand in line with the other comedians. Now back then, the idea was it was the first 20 comedians got in. Each of them did 3 minutes. But what you didn't understand, and what I didn't understand, is that a whole culture had evolved around that. So it's not only the first 20 comedians, it's that people would make sure that your place was held in line. You had a whole lot. You had enough time to go to the bathroom or go get something to eat. It was the same thing with Black Friday. Now, hold this idea, because I think this is important. Black Friday remains one of the most important shopping days because it's a very, very visual manifestation of people with goods, with joy. Let me say it again. A very visual manifestation of people with joy, with goods. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that when we come back. Right after the break, don't move. We'll be back talking about Black Friday, an analogy of culture with Preacher Moss. Hey, babies. Welcome to Radio WCUC, Convenient Urgent Care, home of the smart patient. This is DJ What It Do. You know what time it is. It's the top of the hour, and the request lines are open. You know what you want to hear. I know what you want to hear. Operators are waiting.
I just got to hear Don't Get the COVID.
Don't get the COVID. Put your mask back on. The Delta COVID, more contagious than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get the vaccine. You know that it can keep you safe, and your people living up in your space. Don't get the COVID. You need to watch the COVID is more deadly than before. Don't get the COVID, go on and get your vaccine. You know that it can keep you from dying. Don't leave your family all alone and crying. Don't get the COVID.
We invite you to join our fight against COVID and against misinformation. It's time to listen to the doctors and trust the science.
When I think of people dying that don't have to die, it makes me sad. Now's the time to be sober. Together we can make this thing over. Let's fight the COVID. Convenient urgent care, home of the smart patient.
All right. Thank you for coming back. Listen, I've kind of waxed poetic about the whole thing about Black Friday. Now, here's the thing that I don't like about Black Friday. There's several, but let's just get to the top one or two. In the advent of superstores, the Walmart, Super Walmart, the Best Buy, the grocery stores. Hold on a minute, brothers. I didn't know Margaret was already in yet. In the advent of the superstores, like I said, Best Buy, Walmart, Super Walmart, Myers, all these big, huge stores that participate, and they have every right to do it, that participate in Black Friday excursions, if you will, opportunities. What happened over the period of years, and I have to say this, is that the small mom and pop stores got pushed out. Let me say it again. The small mom and pop stores got pushed out. And what they don't talk about a lot is the effect of Black Friday on Black-owned businesses who can't afford to compete with the deep discounts that are given at a large range. And as a result, what happens is a lot of the Black businesses, minority-owned businesses are holding on to a lot of retail because people want to buy it because Walmart can give you a discount of 20, 25% or 30% because they got 2,000 of that product. They're going to make their money up. And a lot of times we don't do enough to patronize Black businesses during Black Friday. What I mean is going in and maybe they don't have the big, deep discounts, but you know what? You made a little money off it, saved a little money, spend a little over here. You know, we used to have small record stores. We had people who sold jewelry. We had folks like that, small bookstores who are not able to participate in the process these days of Black Friday. And what happens is every Black Friday, what I notice is that those businesses go away. So every year we don't see them as much. I want to make a particular note that with COVID, you've heard me talk about this. You know, COVID, a lot of Black-owned businesses went away. A lot of minority-owned businesses went away. And then they never came back. And the ones that came back, they were struggling because the Walmarts and the Best Buys and all of that, who are entitled to do their business. They're entitled to do their business any way they want to. But we as consumers have to understand that these Black-owned businesses are a part of our culture, and we need to support them. So if you're going to go to Walmart, please go to Willie's eyeglass shop and buy a pair of lenses or some frames. You hear me, Satana? Go to Willie's and get you some frames. So I'm going to not go too long here. And I'm going to get to the wrap a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, if you will. So Black Friday, I told you, is this thing. The police started Philadelphia in the 50s and the 60s. No knock on the Philadelphia police. I think the thing is, Black Friday is a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon. But I'm going to advocate for something with Black Friday. And maybe this will work, maybe it won't. You know, why don't we let Black Friday be a part of Giving Thursday, whereby we are in a community service mode. You know, we're going to spend our money at these stores and da-da-da. Well, let's give a little money to the people who don't have money. let's give them, not a handout, but a hand up. Let's make this thing a little bit more of an ephemeral expression about how we care for those in our community. I talked about Black-owned businesses. Black-owned business is important. Why? Because you look around and some of the places like Milwaukee and you have food deserts where people are not able to go get food. Why don't we invest that maybe on a Black Friday that we have an open market and we can sell fresh fruit and fresh vegetables and produce and bag that stuff up for the people so our folks can eat well. Don't just give them the turkey. We want to give them a blueprint for eating healthy. I know this doesn't sound like anything for Black Friday. I'm just throwing this out, but I think it's important because we can get very, very much consumer goods, but not understanding the importance of framing good for other people and ourselves. So those businesses, those Black businesses I talked about, they're important. Why? Because they employ people a lot of times that are not going to get a job at Walmart. They're not going to get the job at Best Buy or some of these other spaces. One might be, their resume. Two, it might be a lack of transportation. And I get all that. But I'm saying let's make an opportunity to have Black Friday amongst minority businesses. What do you think, Satana? Call it Minority Monday? Well, Wednesday we call it what? You didn't make it to what? You didn't make it to Black Friday Wednesday? I don't know. I just think in my space, I think we could do a lot better. I'm a businessman, and just like many of you entrepreneurs. So my business is people. If I don't figure out ways for people to feel comfortable with what I do, then it makes it comfortable. It makes it difficult to do business, period. Because we're in a relationship business, and don't mistake Black Friday as something as, communal. Because see, I'm old school. I talked about my aunt going down to DC and downtown, and she used to go every other week. And this is why she's going, because they had a thing called layaway. And this is the thing I don't like about Black Friday. Black Friday does not allow for layaway. I mean, you can put it on credit and stuff, but I missed my aunt having her layaway stuff written down on an envelope, and she pulled and she paid. It was something different. I guess it was something just in the barter experience. But a Coke cost $200 or $150, and she would pay on it. And this is just something a little bit safer with that because it didn't deal with, I don't know, interest and REBA and all that type of stuff. But that's just me. All right. So listen, despite everything I said, I know many of you are going to go out for Black Friday, and you're going to go out and you're going to get the stuff you want. And I want to say that you're getting the stuff you want. You're looking for discounts. That is the power of the consumer. I salute you. But I also want you to be safe. And I also want you to be aware that there are some people who may not be able to get things after Black Friday, and they couldn't get things before Black Friday. And be mindful. And also, again, I want you to be mindful of the needs of minority-owned businesses who won't be able to participate in this particular day because they're not included. In fact, the plan is Black Friday purposely excludes these people, knowing that going into the holiday season, where that's where you make your big purchases, they're going to miss out. So if you get a chance, go with Sister Satana and go get yourself a pair of frames at Frank's Optical. All right, everybody. I'm Preacher Mars. I hope you have a great time. I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to do a shortened rendition of the Thanksgiving show here on the Shout Out Show because I want you guys to eat, have a little fun, and go back and eat and be with your families, okay? Other than that, you've been fantastic. I'll see you soon, inshallah, tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Enjoy Black Friday.